He was 37 years old when he opened the retirement calculator for the first time. The screen asked him to enter his current savings. He typed a 0. Then he stared at the number for a long time. Marcus worked in customer service for a regional insurance company in Ohio. He had been there for 9 years. His salary was $52,000 a year. He lived in a one-bedroom apartment that cost him $950 a month. He drove a used sedan. He paid his bills on time. He never missed rent. On paper, everything looked fine. But Marcus had no savings. Not because he spent recklessly. Not because he bought luxury items or traveled constantly. He just never started. Every month, his paycheck came in. Rent went out. Utilities went out. Groceries, gas, insurance, phone bill. What was left over felt too small to matter. Soe spent italiano a dinner. Hiri. A new jacket there. A weekend with friends. Small things. Normal things. He told himself he would start saving next month. He told himself that for 9 years. Marcus grew up in a house where money was tight but manageable. His parents worked steady jobs. They paid their mortgage. They kept the lights on. They never talked about retirement accounts or compound interest. They talked about making it through the month. And they did, every time. So Marcus learned that survival was success. If the bills were paid, everything was fine. He never learned that time had a price. At work, Marcus was known as reliable. He showed up. He did his job. He didn't complain. He had been in the same position for 7 years. There had been opportunities to move up. A team lead position opened twice. Both times, Marcus thought about applying. Both times, he decided he wasn't ready yet. He told himself he would apply next time. Next time never came. His coworkers moved on. Some got promotions. Some left for better jobs. Marcus stagied. It wasn't that he was lazy. It wasn't that he didn't care. He just felt comfortable. The job was easy. He knew how to do it. There was no pressure, no risk. And risk felt dangerous. So, he stayed safe. At 37, Marcus still lived the same way he did at 28. Same apartment. Shame. Ruta. Shame. Same income. Adjusted slightly for cost of living increases. He wasn't unhappy. He wasn't struggling. He was just existing. Moving forward without moving up. Time passed, but nothing changed. Then one night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He was scrolling through his phone when he saw an article about retirement. It said most Americans don't have enough saved. It said the average person needs at least $1 million to retire comfortably. Marcus had never thought about that number before. It sounded enormous. Impossible. He opened a retirement calculator. He entered his age. 37, he entered his desired retirement age. 65, he entered his current savings. 0. The calculator asked how much he could save per month. He thought about his budget. After rent, utilities, groceries, gas, insurance, and his usual spending, he had maybe $300 left over each month. Sometimes less. He entered $200. The calculator ran the numbers. If Marcus saved $200 a month for the next 28 years, with average market returns, he would have around $230,000 by retirement. Not even close to $1 million. The screen also showed him something else. If he had started at 28, saving the same $200 per month, he would have over $400,000 by 65. Almost Dobu, not because he saved more money, because he started earlier. 9 years of delay had cost him nearly $200,000. Marcus sat in the dark and stared at that number. He had lost time he could never buy back. The next morning, Marcus went to work like always. He answered calls. He processed claims. He took his lunch break at the same time. But something felt different. He kept thinking about that number. $200,000. Gone. Not because he made a bad investment. Gone, just because he waited. He looked around the office. Most of his coworkers were younger than him. They talked about their weekend plans. They talked about concerts and trips and new apartments. They seemed fine. But Marcus wondered how many of them had retirement accounts. How many of them were already saving? How many of them had started at 25 instead of waiting until 37? He didn't ask. That week, Marcus started paying attention to his spending. Not in a strict way. He didn't create a budget or cut out coffee. He just watched. Thursday night, he ordered delivery instead of cooking. $28. Saturday, he bought a new pair of headphones because his old ones were uncomfortable. $65. Sunday, he went to brunch with friends. $42, including tip. None of it felt excessive. None of it felt wrong. But by the end of the week, he had spent over $200 on things he didn't need, the same amount the calculator told him to save. Marcus wasn't angry at himself. He wasn't ashamed. He just realized something. His spending wasn't the problem. His thinking was, he had spent years believing that small amounts didn't matter, that $200 a month was too little to make a difference, that he needed to wait until he earned more, until he had a bigger cushion, until life felt more stable. But life never felt more stable. There was always something. A car repair, a birthday gift, a higher electric bill. Life didn't pause and wait for him to be ready. It kept moving, and while it moved, time disappeared. If you're watching this, and you've ever thought, I'll start next year, I want you to stay until the end. Because what happened to Marcus happens to millions of people, and most of them don't realize it until it's too late. If this channel is new to you, we talk about money in a different way here. Not motivation, not hype, just the truth about how financial decisions unfold over time. Consider subscribing if that's something you want to hear more of. Marcus didn't change overnight. He didn't open a retirement account the next day. He didn't suddenly start living on rice and beans. He just kept thinking. He started noticing patterns. How often he said later. How often he avoided uncomfortable decisions. How often he chose ease over effort. One afternoon, Marcus was talking to a coworker named Ben. Ben was 43. He had been with the company for 15 years. He was friendly, competent, and stuck. He talked about wanting to leave, wanting to try something different, but he never did. He had a mortgage. He had 2 kids. He couldn't afford to take a risk. Marcus saw himself in Ben. Not now, but 6 years from now. He realized something that scared him. Comfort had a cost. The longer he stayed comfortable, the harder it became to change. Every year he waited, he added another layer of financial obligation, another reason to stay, another excuse to avoid risk. At 37, he could still move. He could still pivot. But at 43, with a family and a mortgage, and 15 years at the same company, the walls closed in. Time didn't just cost money. It cost options. Marcus went home that night and opened his laptop. He didn't look at the retirement calculator again. He looked at his bank account. He had $1,200 in checking. No emergency fund. No investments, no safety net. If his car broke down tomorrow, he would have to put it on a credit card. He thought about what would happen if he lost his job. He would have maybe 2 months before he couldn't pay rent. Maybe less. That thought sat in his chest like a weight. He opened a new tab and searched how to open a retirement account. He read for an hour. Most of it was confusing. There were terms he didn't understand. Roth IRA, traditional IRA, 401k, contribution limits, employer match. He didn't know where to start, so he closed the laptop and told himself he would figure it out later. But this time later felt different. 2 weeks passed. Marcus didn't open a retirement account. But he did something smaller. He moved $100 from his checking account into a savings account. It wasn't much. It didn't feel significant. But it was the first time in 9 years he had deliberately set money aside. The next month, he did it again. Then, again. After 3 months, he had $300 saved. It felt like nothing. But it also felt like proof. Proof that he could do it. Proof that small amounts added up. Proof that he didn't need to wait until he earned more. or until life felt more stable. He just needed to start. Marcus also started thinking differently about his job. He had avoided applying for promotions because he didn't feel ready. But ready for what? He already knew how to do the work. He had trained new hires. He had covered for his manager during vacations. He wasn't unqualified. He was just scared. Scared of failing. Scared of looking stupid. Scared of being uncomfortable. But staying in the same position for 7 years was also uncomfortable. Just in a quieter way. The next time a team lead position opened, Marcus applied. He didn't get it. The rejection stung, but not as much as he thought it would. Because something shifted. He had tried. He had taken a small risk. And the world didn't end. 3 months later, another position opened, this time in a different department. Marcus applied again. This time, he got the interview. He didn't get the job, but the hiring manager told him he was a strong candidate. She told him to apply again when another position opened. She told him he had potential. No one had told Marcus that in years. 6 months after he started saving, Marcus finally opened a retirement account. He set up an automatic transfer, $50 per paycheck. It wasn't the $200 the calculator recommended, but it was something. And something was better than nothing. He also started listening to a podcast about personal finance, not because he loved finance, but because he realized how little he knew. He learned about compound interest. He learned about index funds. He learned about the difference between saving and investing. He learned that most people don't fail with money because they're reckless. They fail because they wait. 1 year after Marcus opened that retirement calculator, his life looked different. Not drastically, but measurably. He had $1,500 in savings. He had $600 in his retirement account. He had applied for 4 promotions. He didn't get 3 of them, but he got 1. A team lead position in client relations. It came with a $5,500 raise. Not life-changing money, but enough to save more. Enough to feel like he was moving forward instead of just surviving. Marcus was 38 now. He thought about what his life would look like at 40 if he kept saving, if he kept applying, if he kept choosing discomfort over ease. He didn't know exactly, but he knew it would be different than if he had kept waiting. Time was still gone. Those 9 years were still lost. He couldn't get them back, but he could stop losing more. That realization didn't come with relief. It came with something heavier. Acceptance. Marcus had spent years thinking he had time. That 30 was young. That 35 was still early. That 40 was when things got serious. But time didn't wait for him to feel ready. It moved whether he moved or not. And every day he waited was a day he could never use again. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. This channel exists for people who think about money late at night. People who feel behind. People who know they need to change, but don't know where to start. If that's you, subscribe. We'll be here. Marcus still works at the insurance company. He still lives in the same apartment. But something inside him is different now. He doesn't wait anymore. When he thinks about doing something, he does it. Not perfectly. Not always successfully. But he tries. Because trying and failing is better than waiting and wondering. Most people don't lose their future in one big disaster. They lose it in 1,000 small delays. A month turns into a year. A year turns into 10, and by the time they realize what's gone, it's too late to get it back. Marcus realized it at 37. Some people realize it at 50. Some people never realize it at all. The day Marcus opened that retirement calculator was the day he stopped lying to himself. He stopped pretending that later was a real plan. He stopped believing that time was unlimited. He stopped waiting for permission to start. He just started, and starting even late was better than never starting at all. Time doesn't care about your intentions. It doesn't care about your fear or your comfort or your excuses. It host mobs. And the only question that matters is whether you move with it. Marcus learned that the hard way. But he learned it, and that made all the difference.